Hey guys, Dr. Ben here, F8 Well Center is going to go over today thyroid, dig deep into what blood work markers you need to be running, what you need to be testing for, not just whether you have too much thyroid or too little thyroid hormone, and then things you can do today, things you can do now to start improving your thyroid function. So welcome, love having you guys on. Pop down below where you're watching from, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're watching on Facebook, all over the country, all over the world. Love having you on. Post where you're watching from, and also any questions that you have. If you've got any blood work numbers that you're wondering about that you've got back, and what did you hear? Well, it's in the okay range, or it's not that bad, or we'll make your thyroid hormone go up a little bit or go down a little bit, but you don't feel any better. Or maybe you do feel good and then they change it and then you don't feel good. So wherever you are in the process, you've got to know the whys that the thyroid is out of balance, and you've got to know what to test for. And the blood work is the crucial part of this. It's not just TSH. Give me a thumbs up if any of you guys out there have just had a TSH run. I mean, this is so common that we see people that's all their doctors are doing. They're monitoring their thyroid stimulating hormone. We're going to get into that as well, and how that can be an effective marker, but how it's also not a very good marker in general to look at. So let's get into it, guys. So the first thing that we want to look at is Hashimoto's is not a thyroid disease. So we have what's called Hashimoto's, named after Dr. Hashimoto. Almost 100 years ago. We have known, there's some thumbs up out there, and you guys know how frustrating that is, right? Just to look at that TSH. Dr. Hashimoto's found that the body can attack the thyroid. So everyone's heard about antibodies, and whether you've had COVID or had the vaccine or whatever it is, antibodies are all the rage, right? Well, antibodies are not just for COVID. Antibodies are going to be created to target any type of cell in the body. So let's say there's a virus, let's say there's a parasite, let's say there's a bacteria, all types of different cells can come into the body. We create antibodies, they go and they tag these pathogens for destruction. Then the immune system comes in, the natural killer cells, the cytotoxic T cells, and they're going to destroy this. Kind of like the laser pointer down on this little hut down in Afghanistan, and then the drone comes in, drops the bomb right on that little hut. Well, that's what's happening with these antibodies. They're tagging this for destruction. But what happens, and what can really become a problem with autoimmune, is that our own tissue. So in Hashimoto's, let's say the thyroid starts getting tagged for destruction, and then it's going to attack the thyroid. So many of you guys have told me that you have Hashimoto's, you've tested your antibodies. Pop down below what antibodies you have had tested, and if you know which type of Hashimoto's you have. So which type of Hashimoto's is really, really important, because there's one that goes to the thyroid itself, and then there's another which goes to the bus. My third son, he just went on a ski trip with youth group over the weekend, and so they all got on the bus, they had all their gear, everything going. But what happens with this autoimmune to the bus is that the body starts attacking that bus, and so they could be all ready to go, all reared up, just excited, got their gear, everything, but that bus is broken down. So there's two types of Hashimoto's that you have to test for, and you need to know the difference between these two. If you have not, drop us a line below. We can set you up with blood work. We can drop ship anywhere in the United States, anywhere in Canada. We can even get it to Australia. I have this since 39, I'm 60. Angel, do you know which type of Hashimoto's you have? Is it TPO or is it thyroid globulin? Those are really, really important things to know. And if you don't know, we can help you get that answer. So TPO is going to be to the thyroid itself. So this is going to be attacking the thyroid's breaking down, being destroyed. TPO is 4 right now. Great job, Kayla. But they'll refuse to test thyroid globulin. I'll need to schedule a full workup here soon with you. Absolutely, especially after that baby comes, Kayla, because that's when things can get out of bounds. So you really got to stay dialed in on your diet and everything else, because around estrogenic events is when this happens. Hey, Angel, I don't know the difference. Well, you need to know. Look at your blood work. Go get online, look at your blood work, whatever you can do, and let me know which one of these it is. If you don't know, then you need to get tested. Thyroid globulin is to the bus that is going to be transporting thyroid hormone around the body. And so what does that mean? Well, you can have the best T3 and T4 numbers possible, but your bus is not getting that thyroid tissue where it needs to be. So you could have perfect numbers, your TSH could be good, but if your TG is high, you're attacking the body's ability to transport that thyroid around the body. So if you have not yet, can you get tested on yearly blood work for this? Patricia, it all depends on the doctor. Some will do it. Some will not. It's a simple blood test. It's nothing complicated, but a lot of doctors are going to say, "Oh, it doesn't matter. It's not going to change our dosage anyways." So, Angel, I'm not sure. 0.75. Where do I look on my blood work? It would say TPO antibodies and it would say TG antibodies. But you need to know, if you have a low thyroid state, you need to know, is it Hashimoto's? Because that means it's not a thyroid disorder or disease. It means it's an autoimmune disease. It means the body is attacking its own tissue, and there's no amount of thyroid 0.75, 1.25. There's no amount of thyroid hormone that's going to fix this. So this information is crucial to know. Some people have one, some people have the other, some people have both. So we've got to test to know what is going on. So that's the first step. We've got tons of videos. Brittany will pop down below for YouTube. We've got some Hashimoto's videos on there, probably a good 6 or 8 videos that you can look through and learn more about Hashimoto's and how to treat autoimmune as well, because autoimmune is ultimately the problem, and that's what we've got to deal with. So if you guys have questions, pop those down below. Love getting these answers out to you guys as well. Then we talk about, there are 2 main types of thyroid hormones. There's T4 and there's T3. And so you need to test for both of these, and you need to test both total and free. And so a lot of doctors will say you need either T4 or T3 tested only. And they'll say you need either total or free tested, and one or both of these. And yet for everybody that we look at, we need to look at all of those, T3 and T4, total and free. Each one of those gives us some different information. Yes, they told me that recent Hashimoto's, never told me before. I had it for years, never felt the same with energy level. Yes, so if all you did, Angel, was just take thyroid medication, that does nothing to stop the autoimmune reaction going on in the body. So that's what you need to focus on now. Watch some of these videos on how to calm down that autoimmune reaction in the body, how to calm down that Hashimoto's, but there's no amount. You could double, triple, quadruple the amount of thyroid hormone that you're taking, and it's not going to fix it. So that is not going to fix anything, just taking that medication. So then we look at, if here's your thyroid, it produces T4 and T3. And so what happens is there is a high percentage, 93% of the hormone coming out of the thyroid is T4, and only 7% is T3. But T3 is the good usable form of thyroid. And what we're looking at is, yes, we need T3, but we have to have a good amount of T4. T4 is going to be levothyroxine, the #1 best-selling drug in this country, or Synthroid is the other. So levothyroxine, Synthroid are T4. So it's mimicking what our body is supposed to be producing. But a lot of people, if they're breaking down their own thyroid, if they have a low thyroid, sluggish pituitary, all these things, they're not going to be making enough T4. And here's the really big part. T4 has to convert over to T3. So a lot of times we'll see people with high T4 and low T3. So they're taking levothyroxine, they're taking Synthroid. Let me know what medication you guys are taking out there that are watching this. They're taking their levothyroxine, their Synthroid, and it's high. It's at the upper level, both free and total. And yet the T3 is going to be low. So it's going to be at the lower end, or even that ratio is going to be off. And it's going to say high T4 and maybe low to middle range of the T3. That means we're not converting like we need to. So there's no amount of levothyroxine, there's no amount of Synthroid that you could possibly have. So this is why it's so important to test both the T4 and the T3 and check for that free and total. So Angel there is on Synthroid, so that's that one. That is a T4. So all you're doing is just supplementing T4 hormone. You have Hashimoto's. We don't know whether it's to the thyroid or whether it's to the bus, but you have Hashimoto's, your Synthroid, you probably have plenty of T4, but you also have to know where your T3 is at. And is that T3 high? Is that T3 in the good range? Is it low? Christy, shouldn't you test antibodies as well? Yes, Christy, so here's the deal. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we were talking about. If you just jumped on, yes, you need to test those antibodies, TPO and thyroglobulin. Do you know which one you have, Christy? Because those are very, very important to know which it is. And the Noel, the free thyroxine, don't worry about the FTI. It doesn't really give us a lot of information. Kayla, I'm on 50 micrograms of Synthroid. TSH is 1.2, but my free T3 and free T4 are still low. Fighting with Endo right now because he says don't change dose since TSH is fine. So remember, I'll jump ahead here. TSH is coming out of the pituitary to the thyroid what to do. I'll go this way, that's TSH so everybody can see that. And then the thyroid kicks out that T4 and T3. Your T3 and T4 are still low, but you may need, again, that Synthroid, Kayla, we can talk about this, but you may even need, that's where like the Armor, Nature Throid, some of those are coming in. Those are both T3 and T4. So it has both. That's why some people feel better on those. And so, yes, Christy, can you say those again? TPO, Brittany, go ahead and write that down below for Christy if you can respond to that. TPO and thyroglobulin are the two that you need to do. Pamela, 100 micrograms, levothyroxine. Well, join the average person out there. It's the most, it's like 20 million prescriptions a year on the levothyroxine. The T3 and T4 was good. The TSH was a couple numbers high. So here's the deal, Angel. T3 and T4, their range is like this. Our optimal functional medicine healthy range is like this. So you can't just go off the reference range. TSH reference range is like 0.4 to 5.4 for some labs. I like it 1.8 to 3, so much more narrowed down. Hey, Leanne in Crossville, just increased Synthroid from 100 to 112. TSH is 4.6, T4 is 1.26. Also have high cholesterol and as a 40-year-old fitness instructor. Leanne, we need to know what your T3 is. You can't just be changing your dosage based on TSH and T4. You need to know what your T3 is. We need to know what that conversion is, and you need to know what your antibodies are. If you have not tested those antibodies, you've got to test those. And high cholesterol, number one thing that we look at for that, Leanne, is that we've got to stabilize that blood sugar. So if you're not doing glucose monitoring, you've got to get started there. That is a crucial part that we do with patients. And there we go. Okay, so we'll jump back to that TSH in a second. So T4 converts to T3. So again, if you have a high T4 and a moderate to low T3, you are under converting. And what that means is this 60% of that conversion takes place in the liver, and 20% takes place in the gut. So we know if there is underconversion going on, we've got to help rebuild and repair that liver. We've got to help rebuild and repair that gut. So again, let me draw this out super simple here. T4 converts to T3, and if we have high T4 and low T3, we are under converting. We are not converting that over like it needs to. Kayla, yeah. So drop us a line. Let me talk to you about that. We can help with that. Christy, glucose. Yes, glucose. You need to be glucose monitoring. Brittany, go ahead and pop a couple. We've got some YouTube videos out there as well talking about blood sugar and how important it is. But absolutely, if I see high cholesterol, first thought you need to have is someone's blood sugar is not where it needs to be. Is this a comorbidity? If I get Omicron, don't have vax, little worried, and Epstein-Barr. So Angel, no, Hashimoto's is not a comorbidity for COVID. Actually, I've seen people that have autoimmune actually do better with, unless they're on a huge immunosuppressant, but they'll actually do better with COVID than some other people because that immune system is already kind of on red alert. Epstein-Barr, you know, if somebody does get COVID, very likelihood that they are going to have a reactivated Epstein-Barr. So keep your eyes out for that, Christy. And thyroid antibody is 2.0. Leanne, thyroid antibody. Is that the TPO or the thyroid globulin? So let me know. I'm not sure which one that is, and then let me know what reference range. Some of the labs have different ranges, but 2.0, I'm not familiar with that number. Ours is usually, you know, up. We want TPO under 25 and the thyroid globulin under 50. But that's the lab we use in the range that they're using, and those the actual values in there. So again, we've got this conversion issue, and that's going to be in the liver, and the gut is a huge part of it. And then the last one is going to be the TSH. So it tells the thyroid what to do. And here's a very common thing that we see with patients, thyroid globulin. What's the range on that, Leanne? The TSH is going to go up when thyroid is too low, and it's going to go down when thyroid is too high in general. But one of the things, again, this is why you need to look at T4 and T3, is if those are low, if both T3 and T4 are low, and TSH is also low, that means that the pituitary, the jockey that's whipping the horse, is not stimulating like it's supposed to. So if we see low TSH, low T3, low T4, you are having a low pituitary. So it's hypopituitary, secondary to probably some low adrenal, some adrenal fatigue. So you've got to look at your adrenal glands. You've got to look at cortisol, some of these other things. So TSH is not just about, do you need to stimulate the thyroid or not? Because remember, TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, is not a thyroid hormone. TSH is a pituitary hormone that tells us way more than just how to adjust your dosage. Leanne 2.0, so yes, you do have thyroid globulin antibodies there. So your body is attacking the bus. Check out the TPO as well. So do we all have these two antibodies, or is it one or the other? So if somebody has Hashimoto's, they can have either one, Christy. They can have TPO or they can have thyroid globulin. So like Leanne here, she has thyroid globulin antibodies body's high, 0.9, she's at 2.0. So she is high on that thyroglobulin. Her body is attacking its own bus. Some other people will have TPO, which is attacking the thyroid itself. So very, very important to know those two. But also, this is why it's so important. If you're not getting a full thyroid workup done, if you're not getting that TSH, that T4, that T3, total, free, TPO, thyroglobulin, all of those things, you don't know the answers. So you're barely even asking the question. So Christy, it is such an intricate balance, absolutely. And so, everything is going to affect something else. So just by bringing in levothyroxine or Synthroid, it does nothing to fix the problem. You've got to fix the why that we're having these issues. So if you've got any questions, guys, pop those down below. If you're having a hard time getting the blood work from your primary care doctor, your endocrinologist, whatever it is, drop us a line. Brittany can put in, we got a link where we can get that blood work, a kit drop shipped to you anywhere in the country, in Canada, anywhere, and you get it drawn locally, shipped off to our lab, and we're able to review that with you. We review that blood work with you, tell you exactly what's going on, come up with a game plan for you to get your life back. So it's very, very common that people are not being served as far as thyroid goes. So let us know, and we can absolutely help you through this process. Love having you guys on. Drop us any other questions, even if you're watching later, and it's a recording. Drop those questions down below. We keep an eye on these. Stay strong. Keep that body going as much as possible, because it's not just your thyroid. There's many other things that are affecting this. So take care, guys.